You're listening to the Appleton REIA podcast, a podcast dedicated to understanding the latest tips, tricks, and techniques to be successful in today's market of real estate investing. Appleton REIA podcast. Get ready. Here's the next episode. Hey people, it is Dan Alborn, Jackie Conkle, and guess what time it is?
It's podcast time.
Yes, that's right. When you hear our two voices and the music that starts beforehand, hopefully you're getting the theme of what's going on. Yeah, you jam out a little bit. It is time for the Appleton REIA podcast. It's a podcast to help you as the investor to make better decisions. Maybe just get a little knowledge in your brain, allow you to be more effective in the things you do, tips, techniques, anything that we can do that we think would help our business.
Right.
We kind of, you and I chat and be like, ooh, let's put that in a podcast.
Let's do it. Yep.
And thus, we are here today, Jackie.
To poke the brain once again.
Absolutely, because I know this month at the REIA, we'll talk about a very cool guest that's going to be joining us that if you've not already booked a time to be there, definitely do that. But the podcast transcends the guest nonetheless, because what we want you to do today is stop setting yearly goals.
Isn't that crazy? We're telling people to stop setting goals.
Right.
What?
And we've done podcasts before about goal setting and the importance of this, that, and the other. So now we got the gears churning a little bit of like, all right, what are you guys getting at? Well, I was recently introduced, and I can thank a few people that are part of our local group, Shannon Richardson and also Ryan Lambert, who's one of our students. It actually introduced me to this book called The 12-Week Year, and the authors are Brian Moran, or Moran maybe, and Michael Lennington. They have a book and a workbook. The whole idea is, the subtitle is Get More Done in 12 Weeks Than Most People Do in a Year, right?
Boom.
So the whole idea behind this is pretty amazing, because the philosophy behind it, Jackie, is that annual goals, as we have them today, that was their statement. They don't work.
They don't. No, you're right. And I mean, we even take a lot of things with our students and break it down into like what are the main things, and then we break them down into waypoints and action steps.
Right.
I mean, that's... Yeah.
Yeah, and these guys who wrote the book work with these multi-million-dollar companies that have been able to revolutionize their whole structure because they were on the traditional annual, quarterly goals, right, that they would set up. But the reality is when they set these things out, and this is actually perfect timing, because right now people are planning for 2022, right? They're looking ahead, putting together the prognostication of what that's going to look like.
Prognostication.
Yeah, dropping a big $5 word there,
what?
huh? Yeah, I'm there. I'm good. I had my cup of coffee this morning.
Today. Dictionary Dan.
Look it up. I haven't used it correctly.
Sorry, I threw off your groove.
No, so what I was trying to get at is that when they put this big number at the end of the table, right, saying, all right, we want to make $5 million in 2022, it doesn't become... It's exciting when you initially create it, but
any goal.
Yeah, but really when the crunch time comes is when you're at the end of the goal, right?
Absolutely.
So either you're really close, so if you get to that last month of the year and you're close, now you're just driving super hard to hit that goal, right? Yep. Everyone's on high alert. Or for the people that aren't even close to hitting that goal, they've checked out by, I don't know now, September.
Oh, for sure.
By end of Q3.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, dude, this year's a wash. We'll just let it ride, and it loses its steam.
Dano, I think about New Year's resolutions and the gym memberships, right? I mean, they're like packed on January 2nd. And by the 2nd of February, it's like ghost town again.
Right.
We lose that steam and that motivation and that excitement, or we procrastinate it, right? I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year, and it's like, I got until December. Let me just take a break. Yeah. I'll be back.
Absolutely. Yeah. We get really excited when we create these things, but then the next 364, or if you're in a leap year, 365, those days just kind of fall off, right? I mean, how long do resolutions truly last outside of the day that you write them? Maybe the first week?
Maybe. Yeah. And maybe we give goals a little bit longer than a New Year's resolution, because those are usually like those really big things that we chew off that we didn't really work up to, and they might not even meet a full version of our why. Right. Some of those are our shoulds.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe there's something that makes your should a why, right?
Yeah.
But I think other things that they were talking about in this book too, Jackie, that I thought just kind of almost like ahas, but like you kind of always knew in the back of your brain. But I mean, the time frame's just too long, as we just talked about. I mean, 12 months to have a goal to be accomplished is a pretty long time.
That's really long. Like, think about this. Taxes are due. Like, if you're a business owner, right? Yes. I mean, most business owners are going to file an extension, but let's just say, right?
Yeah.
Taxes are due April 15th.
Right.
When do you start working on them?
Yeah, April, beginning of April, end of March,
And we have the extensions, and so,
Right.
corporate goes to September, and
Yes.
and personal goes to October.
Yeah.
So, we're working on them in
Absolutely.
September and October to get those done because we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And most humans are procrastinators by design.
100%. 100%. And sometimes these goals, these annual goals, just are not structured in a way, they're just so vague, right? They don't have any real meaning behind them. It's either a number or it's like, we want to increase 20% over next year, and maybe there isn't real tangible things that can help motivate people to do the tasks.
Because there's a long list of action steps that goes with every big goal. And those
Absolutely.
action steps should really be the
Right.
goals.
Yes.
And so I love this idea of 12 weeks in a year instead of 12 months.
Correct.
So you just have, what is that then? How many years in a year?
Well, you potentially could have 3. In theory, you'd have 3 and then a portion
Sure.
of a fourth, because how that
Right,
works
'cause
in this
48.
book is it's not aligned to the calendar outside of a 7-day week or a 5-day business week, right? So you have 12 of those consecutively.
And
At
that's
the
your year.
13th week, it's like a rest. Like, you just take time to celebrate, right? You enjoy the fruits of your labor and what you did, or more importantly, maybe you didn't hit the goal, right?
Oh,
so then you
yeah.
do some reflection.
Reset.
Yeah, you reset.
Plan, do, review.
Because here's the deal: when do you reset on a yearly goal? You have to
The
wait
next
300, and
year.
you have to wait a full year to reset.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
So what happens is either you become demotivated or it becomes just stressful at the end of the day. Whereas if the way they position this is that you then do what you would do on an annual basis, but crunch it down into 12 weeks. And what they've done with a lot of companies is they've taken that annual goal when they really get humming, and they put that into a 12-week window.
And hit it.
And hit it.
The motivation's there, the planning's there, the action steps are smaller. And here's the most important part to any goal, and we've talked about this on previous podcasts.
100%.
And that is to celebrate the win.
Yes.
And if you've got to wait a year to
Right.
celebrate the fact that you made it, or to get, super sad because you didn't, it gives you that opportunity. I mean, if you made a goal to lose 5 pounds, when the big goal is 100, but you made a goal to lose 5, it's really cool when you get to celebrate at the 5 rather
Absolutely.
than waiting for that 100 to fall off.
Well,
Right?
and here's the other thing they talk about, that they're not guaranteeing that you're going to hit every goal you set, but
For sure.
But by doing this, you're consistently doing activities, Jackie, because it's such a shorter time span.
Yep.
That you're going to obtain something.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. It may not be exactly what you anticipated, but if you continue to do these actions, you're going to have some fruit from your labor, and who knows, it could even be better than what you anticipated.
Well, and then you have a lot shorter window to review.
Right.
Right? So you
Correct.
planned it, you did it, you're reviewing it so that you can plan it and do the next
Yeah.
step. Whereas if that's a year at a chunk, that's just
Absolutely, absolutely.
tough. A lot more winning.
And the other thing too, a lot of times, and we've talked about this too, when it comes to goals, but it's not tied to your why. So if you make these goals just because everyone else is making a goal like this, and if we're talking real estate specifically, I want to flip 12 properties next year. I want to do one a month, or I want to have 100 doors by the end of the year if you're a landlord, right? We hear these goals every year from a
Absolutely.
variety of, whether it be students of ours or other investors, and those aren't bad goals, but is that the life you want to live? Is that really your personal goal? Because the other thing that I really like about this book is, yes, it's a business-focused book, but it also talks about the importance of setting personal goals and life goals and tying that into your business. And if you don't have that settled first, you're really barking up the wrong tree.
If you ask somebody, if you could lay out your perfect vision for your life, how much would you want to make a year? And it's so funny how people just say $1 million a year.
Right.
The question would be, well, why? Well, I don't know. Then I think I wouldn't have any problems anymore. It's
Sure.
like they don't really think through it. It's
No.
just like, well, $1 million sounded like a good number.
Right.
Well, have you ever stopped to plan your life, figure out what you want your life to look like, how much time you want to be able to do hobbies,
Yeah.
spend time with your family or your friends or travel, and figure out how much time that life would take,
Right.
figure out how much money it would take to live that lifestyle, and then how much time do you have left? This is life in a nutshell.
absolutely.
This is our next meeting. But
Absolutely.
then figure out, okay, well, what kind of business do I need to do in that time that I have left that would bring in the income
Right.
to support the lifestyle I just said I wanted? But most people plan this business and they try to make it as big as they possibly can. It takes up all of their time and all of
Right.
their life, and they don't have any time left
Right.
to actually live that lifestyle or take the travel or spend the time with
Yeah.
friends, family, and others.
Well,
so
it comes down to you're chasing the dollar, and money's just dirty. It doesn't serve anything. Matter of fact,
Won't
you
make
can
you
be a
happy.
slave to it if you allow it, right? where really at the end of the day, I mean, there's two main things that we all strive for in life. It's experiences and people.
Yeah.
And you can do that with little money or a lot of money and have some amazing people and amazing experiences. So at a core of that, if you can build your life around those two core concepts of, great people in your life and awesome experiences, and then build your business around that, holy cow, that's like putting gasoline on an amazing fire, and it's just going to be unbelievable. Yeah. It's a great catalyst for you. But getting back to this, I mean, really talking about really setting these shorter goals, as we've already talked about, they become more obtainable. And it does give you that chance to celebrate at the end. But then the great thing is you can reset, and then you start over again.
The review and the reset is so important. And the markets could change, the economies could change, your life could change, your family, a lot can change in a year. Yep. I mean, a lot can change in 12 weeks.
Yes.
But if you're setting those shorter things, you're kind of able to readjust and plan, do, review with the changes that are happening around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ones you can control and the ones you can't.
And wouldn't you rather make a change, 12 weeks versus 6 months in or 9 months in?
Yeah.
Financially, it could be something that could devastate you if you don't analyze that sooner. And this also allows you to track things and monitor things and have a pulse on it. So you're really engaged in the goal and you're committed to it, to whatever that is. It could be a fitness goal. It could be a business goal. It could be even a relationship goal. Like, I'm going to dedicate some time with my children, and this is important to me, that I'm a part of their life or whatever's going on with them. So that's the beauty of this, is that it really compresses what you would normally do in a year in 12 weeks, and you're going to accomplish more. So it gives you traction.
Sure.
It allows you really to grow, but also, as we talked about, it gives you that motivation,
Tons
that
of
juice,
motivation,
right? That juice to go another day.
Yeah. And if you're somebody who really thrives on like competition, and you want to set yourself up with like quote unquote workout partner, right? Whether it's business or personal goals, and you have somebody that you're competing against, like how many, and we've done this with our students, like how many marketing pieces did you mail out if mailing's your thing? How many calls did you make? How many calls did you take? Because again, and this is a podcast we did a year or so ago, right? About you can't really control the outcome. So like somebody saying, I want to, have 12 properties this year. You can't really control the 12. 100%. What you can control are the activities that will get you those 12. So whether it's, driving around and writing down addresses, mailing them, calling them, texting them, putting other ads out, or
it's funny.
Whatever it is.
I just saw a quote. I was sent it to someone recently, Jackie, and I probably can't even find it on my phone. I'll be going through all this other crap. But that's exactly what it is. Like,
you can only control the activity.
You can only control your activities, and I also add a little bit of a twist on that, your attitude, right?
Yeah.
So if you go in with the right attitude and are involved in the right activities, I can't believe that you're not going to be successful in whatever you want to try.
Can you say that?
I busted off. What was the big word before?
Something.
I don't know, it was a $5 word. That was like 5 minutes ago.
I know, that was like a
Jackie.
$50 word for me.
I only had maybe only had like $7.50 in the tank, and I spent $5 on that word. So now my lexicon is getting very compressed.
Now you have a lexicon too.
Now I'm down to like 20 cents. So.
Folks, we're grabbing vocabulary for you today.
Jack, you have to bring this thing home, and I think this is a perfect time because I'm excited because he's a personal friend of yours and mine. We've known him for many years.
My gosh.
Unbelievable human being, first and foremost, but he is coming to the Appleton REIA this month to talk about something that ties into goals, but specifically life goals with Life in Air.
It's all about setting up your life the way you want, and then planning everything else to serve your life experiences, and that joy, right? If you feel like you just work too much, if you feel like you're on the hamster wheel, and if you got off, the wheel would put a burn in your side. I mean, if you're just running that thing so hard, it's time to just take a second, listen, and decide how you might be able to set this up. And we call him Wojo because his last name is Wojciechowski, and it has a lot more letters than it sounds like. And so Jason Wojciechowski, he goes by Wojo, but he's the CEO of Life in Air, and he's also got like tons of other letters after his name that are like PhD and things like that. Super intelligent dude.
He's well learned.
He's got some of the $50 words. I'll bet.
Absolutely.
But he definitely has a message to share with us, and kind of how we can set ourselves up to win. And this whole 12-week work year, 12-week year. You heard it here first.
All right, guess what I'm getting Jackie for Christmas?
A dictionary? A new tongue?
Yes.
But I mean, it's kind of, these two things really come together, and 100%. It's kind of, that's how our life is, right? As soon as we're focused on something, we attract all the things that kind of go along with what we're looking into growing. And, the 12-week year and Life in Air and all these things kind of come together. Yeah. And we'd love to share this information with you guys. I mean, for Dan and I both, Life in Air has absolutely revolutionized our lives and our businesses.
100%.
I would say it's a big piece of why we have success today. And we just really want to share it with as many people as we can. So bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a spouse, bring anyone you know who works too much. Real estate doesn't matter. It's not about real estate.
I would agree.
Only.
It is kind of the basis, because one of the founders, Steve Cook, obviously he was based in real estate, but that's where he had his epiphany in this idea. So whether or not they're in real estate, this is a great opportunity, specifically if a loved one that maybe is challenged you in regards to real estate. This is a non-real estate meeting at its core, but it can be impactful to all walks of life, for sure.
Although real estate has been a fantastic tool to be able to fit in those little bit of hours we have left after we're living our lives. Yep. So it'll be a great time, and even outside of that, hopefully you've gotten some nuggets out of this conversation today. And whether you pick up the book or whether you try to just break some things down into smaller goals and smaller timetables, whether it's a 12-week year or however you guys decide to do it, but think about it and take those annual goals, chop them into big buckets, take one bucket, break it down into the waypoints and the action steps, and then set the smaller time limits. And don't forget to celebrate your win.
100%.
Every time.
And now if you want to check it out, now this month, typically it's the third Tuesday of each month, but to accommodate everyone, we are actually the third Wednesday of this month. If you're not sure what that is, go to appletonrea.com. You can get tickets. If you're a first-time visitor, it's free. Otherwise, if you've been to quite a few and if not signed up to be a member of the Appleton REIA, what's your problem? I'm just joking with you. There's just so many benefits, I guess, what I'm getting at, whether it be the national sponsors through Home Depot. I continue to get great savings with paint and everything else I buy from there, or some of the local vendors that will really treat you well in regards to local service from title companies and other people that really want to help your business grow and have your best interest in mind. Check it out. We hope to see you this month. AppletonREIA.com for more information, or lifeinair.com if you want to learn about Jason Wojciechowski or Steve Cook.
And if you can't spell that, just connectrea.com. We'll take you to it as well. REIA.
All the information is online. So hope to see you at this month's meeting. Otherwise, hopefully this has been helpful. Stop setting those annual goals. Compress them down to 12 weeks. And of course, as Jackie said, celebrate, right?
Always celebrate the
good times.
Yeah.
Come on! I'm not singing. All right, folks.
No.
You've been listening to the Appleton REIA podcast. Have yourself a good one.
See ya.
You've been listening to the Appleton REIA podcast. For more information and other episodes, visit us at appletonrea.com.